In today's KSAT Q&A, we are joined by infectious disease Dr. Ruth Berggren with the Long School of Medicine at UT Health San Antonio. As always, Doctor, thanks for being with us. Nice to see you. Let's start with vaccines. That is a big topic right now. A lot of questions surrounding the development of that vaccine and when. We heard yesterday the CDC tell states be ready to distribute November 1st. What's your take on that?
Well, that's a really excellent question, and I thank you for it. I want to point out to people that there's been over 100 vaccines in development. We have a number of them in clinical trials, I think 29 to 30 of them in clinical trials, and 2 actively enrolling in San Antonio with a 3rd one on the way. If you consider this, that even those that were out front were here in the U.S. were enrolling in August. Let's say we have great data about their safety and their ability to generate antibody responses. There is no way that you have long-term knowledge about their efficacy, I mean, how protective they are by November, right? I mean, August to November is a pretty short period of time. So this is obviously a pandemic. It's an emergency. Things are being done differently. But the truth of the matter is that what's going to happen in early November, if you're vaccinating people, is we're going to be vaccinating early on before we have long-term safety and efficacy data.
Is it as important as perhaps it has ever been to get your flu vaccine, since we're talking about vaccines?
That is so important. And the reasons are many. Flu kills a lot of people in the United States every year. It looks right now like COVID is killing about twice as many people as the flu is, but there's still a lot of people who could get immunized. We only immunize half the people we should be immunizing every year. So we need to get on it. Now, picture this. Imagine you're one of the folks that's at higher risk for a bad outcome from COVID or flu. You're over the age of 64. You may have 1 or 2 chronic illnesses that set you up for a bad outcome. Now imagine that you not only get COVID, you get flu at the same time. This could happen. You are really at risk for a bad outcome now. So we call this the possibility of a twindemic. We do not want to see a twindemic in San Antonio, and the way to avoid it is to have everybody who can go get their flu shot. It's available right now, so you can get on it right away.
Let's talk about Labor Day. The holiday weekend, just a few days away. I know that we have talked about the warnings, telling people to take precautions. But you know what? A lot of 2020 has felt like a broken record. So I think that we should touch on that again. And you said something that I found really interesting last time we brought this up. Identify your Labor Day social bubble. So what strategy should people have for whatever plan they're making this weekend?
Right. So you want to just really only socialize with your immediate family and maybe a couple others who are also being similarly cautious. The more people that you bring in, the more you are exposing yourself to whoever those people have been exposed to. So really be thoughtful about it. And this is not the time to start expanding your social bubble. This is the time to keep it right where it's been. And we want to have people think about minimizing the time that they spend indoors with that social bubble. If you're going to do something in the backyard, such as a barbecue, keep it outdoors, keep it small, and wear your masks if you're going to be indoors or if you're going to be anywhere near people that are vulnerable, that haven't been living inside your own household. So those are some basic principles. Outdoors is safer than indoors, but if you're really close and shouting and singing with somebody that's outdoors at less than 6 feet away, that can get dangerous too.
Yeah, we just put up the graphic that you sent us that says, the minimize, immunize, recognize, appreciate. That's the graphic that's up right now. So a lot of schools are starting or looking to open up in-person classes after Labor Day. I asked the mayor last night if he thought we were there yet. He said he didn't know. It's too early to tell. He wants to see the numbers up until and past Labor Day. What are you seeing right now? Are you encouraged that maybe it is time to open up some of these schools?
So to really give you a confident answer on that, I'm going to say it again. We care about data rather than dates. And we want to see the positivity rate for those tests coming down to 5%. Right now, we're in the 7s. We've made a ton of progress. This is really good news. But nobody that I know over at Metro Health is willing to project when we think we're going to get to 5%. And so that means nobody really can say with any confidence what date that will be. So we have to ask the public and the whole community to be patient and continue to monitor those numbers. You know, the school safety indicator on the COVID-19 sanantonio.gov website is still in the yellow at this time. The reason it's yellow and not green is that our community positivity rate hasn't gotten down to 5%. So it's tough. It's going to require patience. It's going to require flexibility. It requires schools to be able to pivot quickly to respond to these numbers. But that's what we have to do during these pandemic times.
In addition to the return of in-person learning, another big event we're all looking ahead to is the election coming up in the fall. We've talked with you about that before as well. We know now that Bexar County is going to be sending mail-in ballots to all voters over the age of 65. You've talked about some changes you would like to see in order to prevent the spread when it comes to elections. Is that a step in the right direction?
Yes, I really do encourage anybody over the age of 64, people with disabilities and immunocompromising conditions, to go ahead and use that mail-in ballot option. Don't forget, you can take the mail-in ballot down to the election office yourself and deliver it in person if you want to, right up until Election Day, but don't wait and do it early. Let's minimize people being in crowds together. Other things, of course, are being prepared, figure out who you're going to vote for, figure it out now, fill out your ballot sheet, and take advantage of this early voting period, prolonged early voting period that we have starting October 13th and going right through the end of October. Figure out where you're going to go vote, go early, come with your ballot all prepared, get in, get out, don't hang around, wear your mask. And then there's one issue that the election judges want to remind us about is those folks are worried about their health, and they're not there just one day. They can't get in and get out. They're there all day for many days in a row. Many of them are older. That tends to be the nature of who is an election judge in our community. So if you are going to do something such as curbside voting, please respect the health of that election judge, and don't ask them to get close to your face or even inside your car window to explain to you about curbside voting. Curbside voting is a tool for us. It can be helpful, but it needs to be used properly. So think about that, and think about the need to wear a mask to protect those other people that are around you, the other people in our community that are part of our democracy that also need to come and vote, and they need to vote safely, and we need to protect the health of the election judges who are exposed to all of us as we troop through those voting sites.
Absolutely. Dr. Ruth Berggren with UT Health San Antonio, thank you for your time. We'll see you on the Night Beat.
See you later.
We'll be right back.